decision that I made rationally. I just knew I was going to run that race. I looked at it and said, like, this is my destiny, and I never questioned it. I just set out training. The next day I put on my nurse's shoes, which is what I wore to run in, because they didn't make women's running clothes, and I just set out trying to run further and further distances. My boyfriend would take me on his motorcycle and drop me off, and we'd measure out a distance, and I'd run back to the house. And so my idea was I was going to gradually build up the distances. I had no idea when I started training that women weren't allowed to run. In fact, the fact of the matter was that prior to 1966, it was almost universally believed that women were not physiologically able to run a 26-mile marathon. But luckily, since I wasn't in the world of sports, I didn't know that. And they weren't allowed to run more than a mile and a half competitively, and I didn't know that either. But I was running for a completely different reason. I wasn't running as a competitive runner. I was running out of the sheer joy of life. And then I didn't question this love I had. It was an expression of who I was, to run this and to train and to set this goal and work towards it. And I had actually, the way I trained for it is very interesting and unique. In the summer of 1965, I took a trip in my Volkswagen bus with my Malamute puppy from Massachusetts, from Winchester, where I was living with a family taking care of their children. I started there and I went all the way across the country, and I visited my aunt and uncle and some friends and so forth along the way. But every day I ran in a different place, and I'd spend 3 hours running, 3 hours, 4 hours, running and walking wherever I was, exploring. And every day I'd drive, probably a few hundred miles I'd drive, and then at night I'd sleep out under the stars, and during the day I would train. And of course, I had never seen the country. I didn't know it was out there. And to me it was this wonderful revelation. I met people along the way. I ate at truck stops. I stopped in towns and cities. I talked to people, and I met the most amazing people along the way. And to me, it was a wondrous time. I was exploring something that I had never seen before. And everything fascinated me, and everything seemed, well, it was extraordinary. And I think I was following the same spirit that I had felt under the chestnut tree, this presence, this sense of presence that I had in my life. It was leading me in a way on this journey and revealing itself to me. And the more I was in nature and the further west I got, the more beautiful everything seemed, even the tiniest things, the little flowers, the patterns of sand, the dirt, the trees. Everything had a beauty to it, and people's faces. And I was so intensely interested in life. I think from the moment I was born, I've been intensely interested in everything and aware of the beauty of life, really. And this is what I was finding in my running. My running was more of a meditation. I think it was healing me of the split that we have in this culture. Not so much now, but in those days, the idea that the mind and the body were separate, and the mind and the body and the spirit were separate somehow. And through running, I was integrating that again and healing myself in a deep way and healing my relationship with nature. We were taught, probably subliminally, that we were so separate from nature, and here I was coming back and rediscovering that unity that we are, that unity. We come from nature. We've evolved from nature.